How y'all doing? I'm Joshua Wiley, and I'm out here. I had to film a video, but I had to get my workout on at the same time. So I got my sweatsuit on while I'm out in the sun, killing two birds with one stone. Time is limited, beloved. Time is limited. But anyway, this video right here is dealing with this new movie come out. This movie that just came out about Tupac. You know, the Illuminati. And it's crazy. It's heartbreaking when I see so many blacks. We're like, it's the crab in the barrel. The crab in the barrel effect. You know, so many are talking bad about the movie, giving bad reviews. Me personally, I'm an honest, harsh critic. You know, on anything I see, anything I read. And me personally, it was a good movie. There's so much garbage out here, so much garbage music videos, movies that people promote. And here, there's this movie about Tupac that the elites did not want to be made. That's why it took 20 years to make it. Nobody wanted to make it because this young man who came from nothing, a crack-infested home with nothing. You know, they didn't want you to know that the feds had a case on him as big as a library, that he had 4 hits on his life, you know, when he was killed, you know, and things of that nature. So there are many different reasons. They didn't want you to know that they had been following his mom and his family since this boy was known or born, and especially when he started to make noise again, he was in the system. But my thing is, the reason why I had to make this short video is a lot of us need to start thinking for ourselves and stop. I was at a friend's house, you know, because I run my own business and things of that nature. So I'm hooking up something he had just bought from me, and I'm at his house, and I'm like, yo, you see that new Tupac movie? His first thought, he said, yeah, I didn't like it. It was bad. And he looked at me because he thought I was going to agree and say the same thing. And when I didn't, he said, you know, it was pretty good. But I'm sitting here like, well, why are you shape-shifting? If you didn't like it, you didn't like it. But even though I know a lot of people just said it because they don't want to stand against the norm. They don't want to be, oh, I liked it, and everybody else be like, oh, I didn't like that movie. You know, we support so much garbage. See, I already know what it is. A lot of the youth wanted to see bang, bang, shoot 'em up through the whole movie and be like, but that was not Pop. You know, that was not Tupac. Tupac, here I am, a teacher of the word, but I wasn't always, by far, you know what I'm saying? And I remember, my mom's name is Brenda. It had me at 17 years old, and we grew up on basically with nothing, with crumbs. So when I first heard Brenda's got a baby, when I was like 12, 13 years old, I was already hooked from then on out. You know, that reminded me of my mom, except she ain't throw me away in no dumpster, you know, things of that nature. So, beloved, you know, Tupac was not just all shoot 'em up, bang, bang, you know, and to put his whole, to be able to try to put his whole life in 2 hours, you can't do it. But I want to stress this point. This point is not being stressed. I saw so many people on YouTube putting hate reviews out on Tupac and saying all this hate and things of that nature. Let's clear the table. And they're comparing it to Straight Outta Compton and the New Edition biopic. Look. Let's clear the table and let it be known right here. In those movies, my cat was up under me. In those movies, the artists were alive. Straight Outta Compton, Dre and Ice Cube paid for a lot of the movie out of their own pockets, where they put a whole bunch of the money up out of their own pockets, and they were there firsthand to say, all right, this goes here, this. Tupac is dead. So L.T. Hutton, and Benny Boone, who I throw my hat off to, you know, for making a great movie, and I took my hat off to Game for one of the real voices standing up for the movie and coming not just because he liked Tupac, but coming from a real point of view that, hey, these men had to go on interviews to make a movie about his life, but the angle they took it and the stuff that they did bring out, of course you couldn't put in everything and bring out everything, but the stuff that they did bring out, I'm trying to move because I know I'm dark and the sun keep moving on me. I want y'all to be able to see me, but anyway, but all the stuff they did put in it was crucial and need to be known. But the Illuminati do not want. They had a hand in his death. This man is still making albums. I mean, making, you know, his remixes. Some of the remixes sound just as good as the original songs. His music is still selling, still being looked at on YouTube, still being downloaded. So it's like that. that ghost that keeps haunting the industry, that keeps haunting the secret societies, and keeps haunting the elites who had a hand in his death. Quincy Jones and all of them who had a hand in his death. You know, they tried to do away with the interview where he said, Quincy Jones said, if you want to date my daughter, you gotta sleep with me first. Oh yeah, and I remember seeing, the only reason I would say it on this camera and even speak about it on YouTube is because I heard the interview before they took it down, where it was out of Tupac's own mouth. Tupac's own mouth. But anyway, I love the stuff that they did bring out in the movie. And it was a good movie. I mean, there's so much garbage movies being made. 15-minute excited thrillers like boop, boop, boop. You know, so many people made a fuss and a big deal over this Wonder Woman. I looked at it, it was all right. It was all right. Just had a little, like even my son said, it had too much CGI in it, Daddy. You know, it was just all the little fake fighting scenes. But it was all right. About some Greek goddess named Diana. Some Greek goddess Diana in the Bible. In the movie, the movie was actually... matter of fact, I think I'm gonna do a video on it, a sit down where I won't be exercising at the same time like this one. But the movie was against Christ. Yes, Wonder Woman was against Christ. Y'all say, Josh, what you talking about? In the Bible, when Paul, in the New Testament, yes, I'm gonna go on this tangent real quick. In the New Testament, when Paul was in Ephesus, the people that worship Diana. Now, if you Google images of Diana, a lot of images of Wonder Woman pop up. You know, that's why, what was her name in the movie? Diana. But anyway, there was where the whole town worshiped Diana. They were deep in Diana worship and even made the little figurines. But here, Paul introduces them to Jesus Christ. So he introduces them to Jesus Christ, and they end up taking them out of the city and stoning them. But beloved, so there had always, when Jesus came onto the scene, Diana worship went down. So there was always a conflict with worshipers of Diana and Jesus. And that demon who's been worshipped as Diana has always had a conflict. Just real quick, if you look at the movie, they said in the beginning of the movie that Zeus created all men in his image. I showed my children exactly where in the Bible in Genesis in chapter 2 where it says, and man was created. I believe it's the end of chapter 1. I believe it's the end of chapter 1 where it says, and God said, let us make man in our image. So God the Father, we know God the Father made man in his image. So in this movie it says Zeus made man in his image. So Zeus is held up as God the Father. So, but what does they also say? They say Zeus's son goes on rebel and becomes the enemy of Zeus and the enemy of mankind. Who's God the Father's son? We already know it's Jesus Christ. Who does Diana kill at the end of the movie? Zeus's son. Zeus's son, who came out and destroyed mankind. That was really mirror matching Ares, the god of war. They try to make as a symbol of Christ. Zeus's son, who the elites feel destroyed mankind because they feel like Lucifer set mankind free. But that's a whole nother video. But I had to go on that little tangent and throw that in there. But beloved, we need as a people to stop just following along what everybody say. So what if this celebrity said it was garbage, or this person said it was garbage? Look for yourself. That was a honestly good movie. Honestly good movie from start to finish, you know, from start to finish. And I love the fact not only it told about his mom, it was mainly about him and his relationship with his mother at first, you know. And of course there was some stuff that they could have put in there. You know, anybody can look at something from the outside and try to make it a little better. But all of you who are down in it, you wouldn't have made that movie if you had the money to. You know, it's easy to say, yes I would, but you didn't. I know like 50 Cent and a lot of celebrities who are down in the movie, they didn't come out there out of their own pocket to make the movie. You know, or do those things. So my hat's off to LT and Benny Boom. Like I just let the world know, Yacht Gaddafi, the light skinned one in the Outlaws with the braids, that was Tupac's half brother. I'm not upset they didn't put that in the movie. Why? Because the movie was good. There's no way you could have made it, put everything that happened in Pac's life in the movie. But what they did show was different sides of Tupac, what I truly like. And they show how he was on the run from how Johnny Law had their eye on him since he was a little boy, you know, how he came up, and once he came up in the industry, you know, the elites was on him, you know, the elites was on him. And think about it, and to get it out, they couldn't tell too much truth about the elites and the feds trying to kill Pac, or they wouldn't allow the movie to come out, beloved. Yes, for a movie to come out on that large scale, it got to go through so many sanctions. That's why Jordan Peele had the flip was really going on with organ harvesting in the movie Get Out. That movie Get Out had so much symbolism and so much truth to it, but he just couldn't come out and say it, or about how all these missing children and missing things coming up, and a lot of these gang members and little young cats who get killed in the street, when they go to them funeral homes, when them parents bury them bodies, they don't have no organs in them. There's nothing there. They're filled with newspaper, like Kendrick, I believe his name was Kendrick Johnson, a little boy down in Georgia, whose parents dug him up after 6 months, and come to find out his body had newspaper all in it. They've been doing that. They've been doing that for years. And with Chicago and Detroit, Cleveland, all these killings and all of that, Camden, New Jersey, where I live several years, they know this has been going on for years. But anyway, Jordan Peele couldn't just put it out there like that. But anyway, back to this movie, you know, it's heartbreaking to see so many just down in it because they wanted to just see rah shoot him up like Tupac was just straight gangster. Tupac was a real gangster, but he was also a real man who was hurting, crying inside for his neighborhood, you know, his Black Panther revolutionary side. Tupac was so many different spectrums of a rainbow mixed in one. And that's why so many of us could relate to him. You know, he just wasn't all shoot 'em up. And I know that's why a lot of the youth, you know, or a lot of people was just expecting to see something just rah shoot 'em up, bang bang. But to tell a true story of somebody's life, you gotta tell a story. You know what I'm saying? It gotta be a story. It just can't all be just straight shoot 'em up, doing drugs and females running around. You know what I'm saying? They had to tell. And I think giving just interviews, making somebody's life off of just interviews, I think the men did a good job. And like I said, heads off the Game, heads off to L.T. Hutton and Benny Boom for making a real good movie. There's so much being said in the aftermath and the underlines. You know, they say Jada said that things didn't go exactly how he said it. I like Benny Boom's real talk. I mean, L.T. Hutton's real conversation on that. He said, Pop said he wished he had a chance to hear the poem. And if many of you go back to her interview, she said the first time she heard about that poem was in a book, because Pop never read it to her, but he said he wished he had a chance to read it to her. You know what I'm saying? So I respect him even just throwing that in there. You know what I'm saying? That is 100% true. To make the story, to make the movie actually watchable and things of that nature to people, you know what I'm saying? To make every little minor detail, you know what I mean? No, it's not 100% true, but most stories and biopics aren't 100% true. I can go in on Straight Outta Compton. We know Jerry Heller, and how come we know Eazy-E got hit with an injection? How you got a cough? You get a little cough in December or November when they was up in New York, and then come February, you got full-blown AIDS? My dad died of AIDS, you know what I'm saying? And when I was with him, trust me, I know what full-blown AIDS look like. You don't know what full-blown AIDS look like, and that Eazy didn't have. And, you know, even that's an old prison tactic. Niggas get, you know, that's why they started separating the cats who had AIDS in prison, because you get somebody just poke you with their little blood, it's over with. And that's what they did with Eazy-E. You know, Jerry Heller, you know, I ain't gonna say it was a coincidence all of a sudden a song called Lethal Injection came out. You know, things of that nature. I don't know how deep that was. I ain't even gonna get into it. But let me tell you, there's always a little bit of fiction mixed in with the non-fiction. But back to the movie. We have to start looking at things for ourselves and not just following along the crowd like sheep. And I just wanted to throw my little 2 cents in there and let them know that, to me, you know, coming from a Pac fan from day one, from Brenda's Got a Baby, before it all, you know what I'm saying? From Brenda's Got a Baby on up, you know, some people might say, nah, a real Pac fan, even though I teach the word, and even lyrics like this, which will forever be ingrained in my head from the song Trap. This is why the Illuminati hated Pac from day one. And this is off of the Brenda's Got a Baby album. He said, they got me trapped in the streets of seclusion. Happiness living on the streets is a delusion. Even a smooth criminal one day must get caught. Shot up or shot down with the bullet that he bought. 9mm, I keep thinking about what the streets do to me, because they never taught peace in the black community. All we know is violence. Do the job in silence. We walk the city streets like a rat pack of tyrants. Too many brothers daily headed for the big pen. Niggas coming out worse off than when they went in. Man, I'm telling you, that's the reason why they hit Tupac. So that's why you had to tell the whole side of the story and just couldn't show the one aspect of Pac wilding out. You know what I mean? Because we've all been through them stages. You know, and Pac was a rainbow. You know, not the funny homosexual rainbow, but you know what I'm talking about. He had all them different colors in his life. And you had to show the whole rainbow. You just can't just show one side. It just can't be one-sided. But there's a big reason why the Illuminati and the elites, they're probably happy that so many are dissing the movie, because then people will watch it in a negative light. People will watch it in a negative light already. You know, that's what my friend told me. He said, man, Jay, he said, man, I looked at the reviews and it was already so many. He said it was so many bad reviews, but on the movie websites, like reviews, man, the Pac movie was getting A+ and this and that nature. But as far as brothers go, to crab in the barrel, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, the harshest critics we are, blacks, we the harshest critics on each other. I mean, that's just being truthful. You know, it's being truthful. We'll go out and support this and do this and make this famous. We'll spend our dough, spend our money, make somebody else famous. But when another brother come out making something, we are harshest critics. We are harshest critics. That's why, what famous line did Pac say? He said, they tell me it's the white man I should fear, but it's my own kind doing all the killing here. But anyway, start looking at stuff for yourself. I even tell my kids all the time. They always go to Rotten Tomatoes when a movie come out. I'm like, don't look at no movie. Who cares? That's somebody else's opinion sitting behind some desk somewhere. That's somebody's opinion like mine, who getting paid for people to come on there and tell them if a movie is good or not. Please, start living life for yourself, judging yourself, you know, actually sitting back and really asking like, man, I'm gonna just say it like this and then I'm gonna end it. The sun is beating, especially with the sweatsuit on. If you already have a negative mind state when you go in there you go. It's gonna be no good to you regardless. No matter how good it was. No matter how good it was. Am I saying it was the best movie ever made? No, it's not. And no, I'm not saying that. Am I saying it? Was it a good movie about Pac and long overdue? Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Y'all have a good one.